are talking kale today with Larry Brownstein and Tom Brophy. Thank you so much for coming on to talk about tasty kale.
Thank you for having us.
Now, I will tell you, you've got 5 different kale. I don't have to tell you, you can tell me. But I tasted these the other day when you sent them to me, and they're awesome. I knew nothing about kale, dried kale, until you sent it to me. So let's talk about what your day job is and how you ended up with tasty kale. What do you do for a living,
Well,
Larry?
I'm a partner at Amity Insurance and Financial Services.
Okay.
I've been in the insurance business for about 28 years. And kale just kind of...
It spoke to you, did it?
It didn't speak to me, actually. It started out like almost anybody's story. You know, we were doing a weight loss program at the JCC in Woodbridge, and they kept on telling us, you got a snack. And I'm like, well, that's what created the problem.
I would go right to cheese and crackers.
Well, absolutely, or
snack.
Doritos. You know.
Well, sure.
But then they said, no, it's what you snack on. And around the same time, my daughter was getting ready to do her thesis at UMass. So I went up there and she needed some pictures. So she took a tray of what I thought were leaves out of the oven. She goes, this is what we're going to be eating. And I looked at her and I'm like, we're going to have what, leaves? She goes, no, this is kale. And my honest response was, because I didn't know what kale was, I thought kale was a fish.
Well, there you go, see?
And
Before we go too much further, Tom, what is your day job?
Well, I'm in the web design business. So,
Okay,
yeah.
so you guys meet, you're doing a weight loss program together.
playing in a band together.
And
Playing in a band together. And he says, or you say,
Well,
hey,
he starts making the kale. He wants to make it, so he gets a dehydrator, but he has no idea how to cook. So then he asks me and says, hey, come and help me make some kale chips. So we start making them. And
I'm trying to picture this. The two of you in a kitchen just doing kale chips.
well, go ahead.
I don't know how to follow recipes, and like Tom said, I don't know how to cook. So I just started throwing in and mixing up things to like make my taste buds happy. And Tom thankfully has cooking sense.
Okay.
And so we started refining it and started bringing it to the JCC.
And we were handing it out. He gave it to
I see.
he gave it to one of the
my trainers.
trainers.
Her voice could be carried across a football field.
Yeah.
She was telling everybody, you have to try this.
How much weight did you guys lose collectively?
Well, we lost it. I unfortunately
put it all back on.
Okay.
I think I was
What
40
about-
pounds.
Okay,
and
so
I
we
was
have
about
to get
20
back on the
pounds.
kale
Oh
diet.
yeah,
Absolutely.
No,
All right,
no.
so
Yeah.
kale is really good for you.
Off the
Absolutely.
charts.
You start making this, and what are the different flavors now?
Okay, so here we have za'atar, which is like a Middle Eastern herb blend. It's sumac, hyssop, thyme, oregano.
Sumac?
Yeah.
Yep.
Really? That's okay
So
for
it's-
you? Okay.
Yeah, it's traditionally eaten in the Middle East, like on pita bread. Then we've got spicy curry, which is like, spicy curry.
It is spicy, I've had
It
it.
has a little heat after
Got a
it.
But
kick.
it's got a
Yeah.
touch of sweetness to it as well. Then garlic is what it says it is. It's
Speaks
garlic.
for
It's
itself.
lots
Yeah,
of garlic.
yep.
It gives you bad breath. Sweet is one of the most unique. It's sesame, coconut, and maple syrup.
And I said put it on ice cream, it's that good.
absolutely.
Yeah, I call it sort of like candy kale.
It-
And then this one, Larry can tell the story. Zing Zang, this was the mistake.
We were a brand new company
I love the mistake. Tell me
with the
about it.
bushel, brand new company, and I started making the za'atar 5:30 in the morning, and then I started pouring in maple syrup. Tom looks over at me and he goes, dude, what are you doing? We're not throwing away a bushel of kale. And so we started mixing and trying
Let's
to
put some black pepper, and we'll put some coconut,
turmeric.
and we'll
and
put some turmeric.
We
in.
looked into recipes of turmeric and black pepper is also releases very good, things for you, antioxidants.
So how do you start building this business and become bona fide and get it into Stop and Shop and Whole Foods and markets? How do you start to do this?
The JCC was instrumental in giving us an opportunity to use their commercial kitchen at a really affordable rent. So they were a big help, and then it was a great networking opportunity. But then it was shoe leather. I mean, we went to stores, store by store, and showed up with samples to Edge of the Woods and Elm City Co-op.
Brookside Market, which
Brookside
was our
Market.
first one.
Yeah.
And then something really, the stars were aligning for us. We wanted to move our kitchen because we needed a bigger place. So we went to Town Hall in Woodbridge, and we pull up for our hearing.
Because we were contemplating converting my office into a kitchen because we're in Woodbridge.
Okay.
And
So
we
we're-
get there, and there's protesters. Not for
about
us.
kale?
No,
Oh.
there was a gun store going.
A gun
in.
store going in.
Oh,
So
okay.
they listened to the gun store story, and then they stuck around for our
Yeah, so
story.
we had
and
a packed house.
and they come running up to us. They're like, we have to talk, do a
Yeah.
story about kale,
Yeah.
tasty kale.
So like the newspaper was there.
Okay,
and so-
let's look at this. So it looks like grass, and it's really, really dry, but it's really, really good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I mean,
really good.
we don't cook it. All we're doing is taking the water out. So it's
So take me through the process. So we get the
so
kale.
we get kale, and it's right from the farm. So we clean it and destem it, and then I say dress it. You dress it just like a salad. So you mix up your concoction, your
Really
dressing,
massage it
your
in.
slurry, and then we mix it, and then you put that in the dehydrator, and it's at a low temperature.
And you're using what kitchen now? This is an interesting story.
yeah.
So
I love how you point to him. You tell him.
the head of Marrakesh approached us and said, I have an arrangement for you. And he said, I have a commercial kitchen, used to be the Lender Bagel Executive Kitchen,
Long-time company.
and I hope it still has the magic that
Yeah.
is generated there. And he says, the deal is you can use our kitchen if you utilize our consumer, who are people with mental and physical challenges, who are not often given an opportunity to learn a job skill, and they basically label the product for us.
That's
And
tremendous.
he really taught us social, economic enterprise.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little giving back, and and
So important.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So
Every
important.
business should give back.
So we have these 5 kale flavors. What's the end game? You've got it in a lot of stores. Are you making money yet? A little bit?
We're still bootstrapping
We're
it.
still
Okay, got it,
bootstrapping it.
got
There's, everything that comes in, we put back in.
But
the
you're giving
business.
hope to everybody who sees this who wants to build a business.
Well, that's
Do you know
been
that?
the amazing thing for us, Ann, is people start sending us emails, and you couldn't ask for 2 guys with less of a food background, the learning curve of getting licensed by the state of Connecticut, learning.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
And so people come to us and they ask us about how we got started, and they leave inspired, but I'm even more inspired that they come to talk to us.
We learn from something.
And this
from
week
everybody
we
you
just
talk
had
to.
a student from Quinnipiac has sent us. He's doing a course on I think food business or something like that. So he has a bunch of questions. He wants to come talk to us about how we
See?
started, and
So what is the end game? Where are we headed?
the
And
dream-
are there of course the dream, and are there more flavors to come?
Well, there of course there'll be more flavors. We'll probably do seasonal type things, maybe holiday related, et cetera, et cetera. But there's more products to come. I mean, one of the things we started making this, it was the alternative to Cheetos. It was a snacking food. But then, you can cook with it. You can use it if you have hummus, you can crumble up the za'atar in some hummus, and it brings that to life. If you're gonna steam some fish, I do that all the time. Fish, put some lemon, tomato, crumble some of that, any of the flavors.
We've
into
done
it.
so many samplings, and the samplings are really to look in a person's eyes as they're tasting it. And I found that this, for a lot of people, the
Focus?
yeah, exactly. But the texture from some people, it just doesn't. And so,
so
when
good.
I would be watching them, I'd say, but what if you tried za'atar on an omelet or a grilled cheese and a baked potato on popcorn? And I watched their
baked
eyes.
potato, that would be good.
Oh, it's
it's great,
awesome.
yeah, or in soups, because you get up, you plate some soup and then put some spicy curry on there or something. It
And just crumble it.
reconstitutes.
Well, there's categories of
soft
people
again.
that love kale. They jump up and down. They come running up to us going,
Well,
I'm
I'm one of those. I have to tell you, after I tasted this, it sounds like a testimonial, but
We love it. Keep on going.
Yeah, no, they were
Don't
great,
stop.
and I could eat these as chips, just like
Yeah,
you said.
no.
out of the box.
Yeah.
But then there's a whole category of people that have heard all the wonderful benefits of kale, but they just can't wrap their taste buds around. They
Yeah.
want to like kale. And I think if we can help them understand simple ways to incorporate it into their favorite food or dish, I think that we've converted a lot of people over to being kale lovers.
We think it's a great marketing idea to have the ice cream, because then you can have your kids eat their vegetables and it's ice cream filled with
Absolutely,
kale.
and I was telling you, I've heard of beet ice cream and everything
Oh, yeah.
else, so, put the coconut one in there,
Yeah.
it'll be great. Do you ever pinch yourself and say, hey, we did it. We got something off the ground. Here we go. It's tasty kale, and
All the
we're
time.
in
Yeah.
we're in
Yeah.
stores only since 2011, right?
Yeah.
It started out, when you get a business going, it's the passion that totally drives you, that
Right.
gets you up at 5 o'clock in the
Right.
morning. Then you start to realize you've seen more sunrises than you ever have in your entire life, and you look at those pros, and then around the 3rd year, it starts to become a little difficult, but then every day you have that aha moment where somebody sends you an email, asks you a question, tells you how much they love it, and that just keeps us going.
What do the families think of you doing this? Oh, really?
No, they're supportive, absolutely. My one son likes it. My other son does not like it.
He's
so,
going to have to be converted then.
I know. But he helps. They work for us every once in a while, so they like that part of it.
And my son does work for us.
Yeah.
So what kind of volume are you turning out right now?
Probably about 1,000 containers.
That's a lot.
A week.
A week.
Yeah,
A week.
probably
Yeah,
about, yeah.
pretty much.
I mean,
And-
it's really picked up lately because we've been expanding, especially within the Stop and Shop footprint. We just got into New York.
Is that the hardest thing to do, though, is to expand? Because now there's demand. Now, how do you keep up with that? And now, how do you hire more
Well, we've
people?
recently gotten contacted by somebody, a very large chain out in Pittsburgh, who says they want us to make, but the question is, can we
Right.
meet their demands?
Well, you
And
just say yes and figure it out. Isn't that what
Well-
business is about? Or
we've actually taken the controlled rollout approach.
Smarter.
To try to make sure that, it's easy getting on the shelves.
yeah,
Having people understand what it is so they don't walk by it, having them taste it, that's where we're trying to make
you're
sure.
always marketing,
Yeah,
always
absolutely.
marketing.
always teaching.
And I'll tell you, we've experienced, if you can get them to try it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we would do fairs or farmers markets, if you can get them to taste it, 9 times out of 10, they will buy one.
Right.
But if you can't,
What do
they-
these
they
retail
just-
for?
They just,
What do they retail for?
$4.99. That's
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's that magic 99. It's not 5.
Yeah,
It's
right.
$4.99.
Oh, yeah. That's
Very smart. on
very
your part.
intentional.
Larry and Tom, thank you so much for coming on and bringing Tasty Kale. It's really good, and I hope you get in stores all over the country.
Thank you
and
so
I
much,
hope it
Ann.
works, and keep teaching others how you did it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
you.
thanks.